New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Hello.
Hello.
How are
You
you?
go.
I don't
I'm
know.
good.
Welcome. I'm Gil.
And I'm Robyn. And
And
this is Rockin the Loe.
yes, it is. I don't know what to do with that. You're smacking me in the arm. Um,
What?
I don't know what to do without you hitting me in the arm, telling me when it's my turn to go. Um, well, everybody,
All
we
right.
are
So,
currently in two different studios today, which is not something we're unfamiliar with. We're just unfamiliar with it recently.
yeah.
So,
So we're glad you're here. Thank you for joining us. We are Rockin the Loe today from Southern California. Yay! I'm in the Carlsbad area. And
I continue to be in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where the sun shines in the window right behind the computer and gets me in the eyes. I don't know.
yeah,
This is not the best
it's
spot.
that time.
Ooh,
It's
yeah,
that time there. So this is like a throwback show to when we were living separately.
yeah. Well, we kind of are for the moment. I mean, for a week or something, whatever it is. We don't know how long,
We
but
don't know. That's
we don't
living in
know.
the we're living in the moment.
Yes,
Huh.
and so many things are in the moment. So many things
It's
are in the
so
moment,
true.
which is why we invite everybody who's on with us to share with us. If you're on watching the show, or if you come on later and watch it, share with us then as well. But we love to have questions during the show or thoughts so that we can comment on them and hear from you. So please do that today. Help
It's
us
the strangest thing. My screen is moving around, but if I was there, I would grab your knee right now so that
because
your
I'm
chair
doing this.
stops. Yeah, that's
Mm,
so annoying to watch. Really annoying. It's like it gets you kind of seasick.
mm.
Just
No,
just
speak in the eye. It gets.
it gets the general public seasick.
Oh, you're sure of that?
I'm yes, I'm sure of it. And if anyone would like to weigh in, please do. Even if you're watching afterwards, just let him know.
Mm,
Okay, not everybody, but it is. It's hard to focus.
got
So
it.
I mean, I'm just telling you this from the theatrical perspective. My
Ah,
my area of expertise. Anyway, so today we're talking about life in an alternate universe, and I thought this was an appropriate title because we are currently living in
an
two
alternate
different places
universe.
for the week. Yeah. But I feel like in general, that is that is a general feeling that I feel. I will speak in the eye there that there's not a lot of things that I can say feel normal. Not that that's bad or good. It's just it's hard to get an anchor on what that does mean. You know what what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's certainly things in our system, the general populace that appear to be pretty much in an alternate universe, but there's so many ways in which we function in alternate universes to one another. Like there, we're now functioning in a complete alternate universe where I'm on the screen and Robyn is not. However, I'm sure she will join us again. So the question is, how do you feel about being in a space that feels like, you understand some aspect of things, but there's a whole nother set of things you just don't understand, or you don't relate to them. And I think that's the alternate universe. Robyn and I recently started working with a group of kids for a certain period of time, but we've been doing it each week. And they came in the one day and they had all these sayings and things they were doing, etc. And we didn't know what they were. I mean, we had no idea what they were talking about.
And
So,
I'm back.
and you're back. That's so good. I was just telling them about the kids and their speaking a different language in our group, and the idea of the alternate universe. We just don't understand sometimes. Like, what is this?
Well, it's true. And that's funny that you say that, because this morning my godson came into me and started talking, in the 6-7 brain rot language.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, you know about that? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, he asked me, well, what do you know? What does it mean? What do you do? And I go, I don't know. They told me, I don't remember. And I thought, is that bad? Like, am I choosing to not know? Or is it just that, my own judgment is that it's so irrelevant to the
Right.
real world at this time, that why do I need to learn about what people are talking about, not needing to not do and not learn about? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I was like, I don't know. I didn't retain it. I just know that if you do it in our class, you have to do 25 jumping jacks or 25 push-ups in front of the class. Yeah. So it's interesting, like what's relevant and what isn't relevant, and what it really does feel like an alternate universe, because he sat here and he could have a whole conversation with himself using things that the average person would go, wait, what? Because they make no sense.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I think, skippity toilet, some of those things were some of the earlier ones, and they've just continued. But I would venture to say that if you turned it around and asked Robert what it meant, he couldn't tell you either.
Maybe.
Because I don't think there's any real definitions.
Well, there is. Skibbity toilet and Sigma, those have real definitions. The stuff that he's doing, like thump thump Thor, blah blah blah, he's like, yeah, that's a character, that's a something, but it's not like Sigma and Skibbity toilet. Skibbity toilet was a good thing, which is why oh, I can't think of her name. The
Beyonce's.
Kardashian kid.
Yeah.
It's like, Summer or Breeze or one of those names. One of those alternate names that could mean many things. But anyway, she engraved that on the, thousands of dollars bracelet that she gave her mom, that you're skippity toilet,
Uh-huh.
meaning like, you're the best. So, and I get it. I get that every generation has had different lingo and words, and that's okay, but this one just seems so it seems like it's working really hard.
Ah. Yeah.
you
Well,
know
it's like an entire language that
yeah,
then but there's not anything behind. It's like the money in the United States when they removed the gold standard. There's nothing behind it. It's just paper. you know?
Well, but there is, we can't say that, Gil, because again, I mean, that's a speak from the eye thing. There's, for them, it's a whole culture, and they, the kids or whomever, understand what they mean when they say that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, and I mean, I agree with you, and to someone it makes sense, kind of like what's going on in the world.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Again, this is why I thought of alternate universes, besides the fact that I apologize, I couldn't remember what you said we were going to talk about, and I had to make a quick decision. But I feel like there's so many alternate universes, and that's kind of what got me started, was like, when we're in the world and things don't seem as we would like them to, or um, or there's something like that going on. How do we combine living in an alternate universe and being present in what we're going to call the real world? Or however you choose to look at that, however you choose to phrase it, but there's definitely two things going on at different times, right?
Yeah. Well, and yeah, we can get into this more later, but obviously, um, there are concepts that include there being multiple universes happening at the same time.
Right.
With different representations of each character or each event or whatever in the story.
Right.
So in one thing's happening and another something else is happening, and so all possibilities are being played out in a multitude of universes. So I don't know, but we can talk more about that later.
We can. So for the general public, we have only been apart for 12 hours or something, 18 hours, I don't know,
24,
24 hours,
18, yeah.
something like that, since yesterday, when I left on a plane. So we can't really do the weekend review, but we can we can tell you what have you found most whatever in this time when I haven't been there.
What have I found most whatever?
Oh, come on.
What?
You
have
can't
an idea.
you can't translate that?
I'm working on it.
Okay, do it.
Okay. I've found that the dogs won't leave me alone because
Mm,
they have no alternative person to go to.
right.
And
And you also found that you could watch two segments of documentary.
that's true. I did. I
Yeah.
did. And I got to just watch it and go, oh, that was interesting, and move on.
Well, isn't that what we do together?
Sometimes, but sometimes we don't watch certain things because one of us doesn't like them or isn't that interested, right?
Uh, that is not my story.
It's
I
not
watch.
you
I
watch
watch.
that I don't really care if you watch because I don't really care if I watch it.
Well, yeah, I pick things that I figure you're not going to care.
Right.
But I don't know that you pick accurately, because I was in the middle of watching that documentary.
Okay. Okay. But yeah. But the thing
But I
is,
get that
how
that's
do
the
we
intention.
understand each other? This is alternate universes. I mean, in my universe, your response appears to be, yeah, it was on, but that was about it. In
Mm.
your world, your response was, oh, that was interesting. I'd like to know more. So
So this is why people get divorced, if they don't figure out how to bridge that gap.
the alternate universe gap.
AUO. Oh, AUG. Og.
Og.
Okay, well, what I guess the thing for me, it's what you triggered when you said the dogs won't leave you alone. I am back to life in an alternate universe because the kid won't leave me alone.
Right. Right.
And like literally sits here with me or with his mom and like blah 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 blah. I'm like, do you really not have anything else you want to do? Yeah. Since I took back my computer screen, he doesn't have it out there for gaming, so he's a little miffed.
He's a
It's kind of
little
crazy.
confused.
It's
What do I do
it's
now?
but really talking about alternate universes, like that video universe, that video world that kids live in, it's
Huh.
scary
Why is that?
because they're lost in it.
Uh huh.
They're lost in it. He literally came in and told me about a basketball game he was playing with yeah, Shaquille O'Neal and no, not with Shaq. I don't remember. But and what's his name? The tall guy. Um,
In basketball, the tall guy.
yeah, really tall from like African name. Um, and
Oh,
all I can think of is Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's about it. So, but anyway, and he's like he imitated how they were playing. He's like, I couldn't get a shot. He goes, he was the tall guy. He goes, I was a tall guy, and then all my icon did was wait. I gotta get my hand. I can't put their hand up and block the pass. But like he told me about his game when he was that guy and Kobe Bryant, and with such passion, like more passion than we have seen when he talks about his own football games or sporting events.
oh yeah, yeah,
It's like this virtual craziness.
yeah,
It's just, I mean, but that is life in an alternate universe on some level because just the way people escape. It's like a whole escape. I mean, that we know people that play until 2 in the morning all night, 3 in the morning in their worlds with their people and their teams and their things.
yeah. And the reality is, or the questions become, okay, so it's an alternate universe. Does that matter? Is that bad? Does it hurt anything? And uh, does it matter that you and I understand the world totally differently sometimes, and so we appear to be, I mean, that's kind of what the discussion becomes. Is it to be evaluated or judged, if you will, or is it just so?
Okay, well, that's a good amount of questions that you will forget by the time we come back to that segment.
You are right.
So make a note about it or keep it in your head because we're going to go to the good news. So here we go. What good news do you have for the week?
Uh,
Actually, I'm gonna start. Are you doing the story you
Go ahead.
mentioned?
Yeah, I'm going to do that one.
So I'm gonna start because I felt like Gil and I don't generally talk about our subjects. However, I feel like this one, our good news stories go from birth to older age. So I'm gonna start with there are 3 students who were working on like their final project, and they are they were engineering students, and they're at Louisiana State University. And so they were working on their project, and you know thought they'd just work on a car seat for children that detected heat and um, when the parent leaves and all of those things, and they thought it was just for their project, but it turned into this passion project, and they kept going, it is now on the market. It's an innovation that literally it's connected to Bluetooth,
Right.
and it. Did you read this?
No, I can just see it coming. Yeah.
Oh, it's connected to Bluetooth, and so it knows when the parent leaves the car or when the kid leaves, and it has to do with weight and all those things, and it sounds an alarm, and it reminds you that your kid is still not with you.
Car. In the car
Yeah,
seat. Yeah.
and yeah, and I just thought that was so cool, and like crazy that it hadn't been done before, right? I
Well,
mean,
yeah, I mean, the car manufacturers have put in some things of, the little reminder on your screen, check the back seat, stuff like that.
right, right,
But that's oh no, the baby seat went off.
right.
you know, that would be a whole different thing. And yeah, it makes total sense. I mean, we have trackers on our dogs. How hard is it to engineer a seat that can detect that the only heat in the car, or the only movement in the car is coming from the seat, nowhere else, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's different ways that they figured it out, but yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty,
so that's they've they're now just refining it and just trying to make it more compact and more excuse me, usable and all those things. And I thought that was such a great thing. So
you'll
that's my
see,
story.
you'll see the child seat with the cord running to plug into the charger in the car so that it stays charged up.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they missed that era.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, thank you. That was great. So I have a story about a gentleman in Omaha. He's 95 years old, and apparently he was talking with someone that worked at the home that he lives in, assisted living home, and not none of the residents, one of the workers, and she was complaining that um, she's not getting any response from Taylor Swift from her fan mail. And so he said, oh, well, I know some people we could get together, we could create a group. And so he got 10 people together from the home, and then they put out the word, and they had 20 people, and now they're in the hundreds of people that are in this new Swiftie fan club that this 95-year-old man has created.
That's so fantastic. That is so great.
They can't wait till she shows up at their place and does a few songs.
Right? Right? I mean, that's so logical for
Yeah.
her. That's amazing, though. I mean, it really speaks to, and this has been coming up a lot for me this week, but I don't know, in articles I've read and things, just how it really doesn't matter what age you are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you desire to keep living, you are going to do just that. You are going to keep living. And in the way that you may have lived when you were 20, 30, 40, 15, whatever it is that really brings you joy and keeps you connected,
Yeah.
you know?
And the converse is the other direction as well. That was one of the things that came up in that documentary I watched, was the one father, 3 months after his son died in his sleep of a heart attack. And basically they, ascertained that it was a broken heart,
Mhm.
Literally. And
Mhm.
said he had totally lost his bearings and his will to live. So
Mhm.
it it is all about our choice as to what we want to do. Sometimes the choice is harder because in situations like that, it feels like something we really have to overcome, but it's still a choice. You know, interesting, interesting. Well, I don't know. How interesting is it? Should we get ready to share some interesting messages and take a short break?
You do know. the expert game. So yes, we are going to do that. We are going to take a break, and we will come right back and discuss life in an alternate universe. Dun dun dun. I miss Shay. Where's Shay?
She's not here.
I know she would be so whatever emotional that we were in different places.
All right.
Throwback. All right. So we're gonna go to a break. We're gonna give you time to grab something to drink, something to eat, a super snack, and or stretch, and come right back here to New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
Hello, and welcome back to Rockin the Loe. I'm Robyn.
And I'm Gil. And we are a married couple for the last 23 years. Oh my God. Did you ever think we'd last that long? I mean,
I did think we'd last that long. I just didn't think we'd be this old.
Yeah, that's more what I meant. I mean, like, it's not so much lasting that long, it's just the idea of being married that long. That makes any sense.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so we are here on Rockin the Loe, where we talk about the joy of relationship. And, you know, there's so many different ways we are in relationship. And today we're talking about this concept of living or life in an alternate universe, and how many ways in which sometimes that's true in our relationship. Sometimes it's true with different groups of people. Sometimes it's true with our general governmental system, that things seem to be in an alternate universe, or certainly one that doesn't make sense with my universe. So
Yeah, and just all those times, like I was saying to somebody the other day, it's those moments where you go, if I saw this in a movie, I wouldn't believe it. This could never happen. You know, like those times when you're just like, what's going on? And it's just beyond the beyond on some level, you know. And again, I think that this happens often. I think it happens in different degrees. Like sometimes it's normal and sometimes it's, you know, really abnormal. And, part of my question arose because I was like, so what do we do? Because so many people in this time of, um, in this time we're living in that's filled with all different kinds of angst and uncertainty. And, as I say often to my husband specifically, that there, it's always been like this stuff. It wasn't highlighted, but now it's highlighted. Now we see things and we're like, oh my God, what's going to happen to that? And even though we never knew on some level that we had that false sense of security, like, oh, well, this is just the way it is. This is in place. So what do we do now while everything is appearing to be in flux and changing, and how do we stay centered and continue to anchor either what we know or what we want to know in the world?
it's interesting because what I'm thinking about is the idea that we are confronted with this idea of an alternate reality and a totally open and ongoing basis right now.
Mm-hmm.
That kicking certain news outlets out of a room is free speech. We're given this total dissonant information, right?
Right.
And yet, if we think in terms of government, how many things have happened that were just a lot more covert, that didn't seem like they should have happened. I mean,
Exactly.
we
That's what.
we think about 9/11 and what could have happened and all that, but not even what could have happened, but the fact that out of that the Patriot Act came out, and that's part of why we're where we are right now,
Mm-hmm.
is because certain things were already being eroded then. We just
Yeah.
weren't recognizing it quite the same way. So go ahead.
Exactly. That's a really interesting point because it speaks exactly to what I say all the time. You know, we just didn't, because we couldn't see it in the same way. We were like, okay, everything's okay. This is a nice world and everything's great. And the truth of that may have been that, whether it was Watergate or undercover this or undercover that, or, all the different things, like
Kennedy,
you said,
Martin Luther King, all those kinds of things. Yeah.
all of those things that we don't really know yeah. So it's interesting that like looking at it from that perspective, that maybe things are things are things really aren't that different, except that we're getting to see it inside out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And at some level, all that's come before has eroded things to the place where it's okay to do that. People have been desensitized. It's almost like the idea of kids and violence in video games, and we get desensitized. Well, I think in some level we have been desensitized from these things that aren't quite right, if you will. And so people have begun to not pay as much attention and to just sort of chalk them up as that's what's happening, you know?
Yeah,
I don't think that's happening of overall, but I think that's sort of been an underlying thing, you know?
yeah. I think that there's that, and I think that there's a level of disbelief going on.
Oh yeah.
And you know, if I just sit this one out, if I just like, that, like, sort of what I was saying earlier about, like, where you're just watching and you're like, oh my God, this could never happen. This can't be happening, and it's like it is like witnessing life, like watching it, and then um I don't know. Then you either choose to participate in a different way or you continue to watch, which doesn't mean, I'm not saying that in a bad way. It doesn't mean you're not active or not actively participating in a different way, but like those are there are those that are crusading at a different level, at a more vocal, I mean, like, take talk show hosts, right? I mean, clearly they have had a meeting. Every one of them has gotten the memo that they are the voice for free speech right now, you know, and that this is their crusade banner on some level, while it can be, you know, and you can see that every one of them has stepped into that.
So this, brings up the idea that what is an alternate universe? Is it really, is it where things happen in a parallel way somehow separately? Is it something that is just really different in terms of how people are understanding it? Um, because in some ways I could say my universe, everything's a alternate universe from there, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
mine is mine. That's how it is. This is how I see the world. This is what I do. This is what blah 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 blah. And so that could be simple, and maybe that's true. Um, on the other side of it, is there this presented universe and this? It's kind of like we used. I mean, I remember it from being little, and going to the ocean and getting caught in the riptide. It's like it was counter to what you were seeing, and it didn't make sense. You know, um, because on top the ocean was doing its thing, the waves were coming in, going out, but then this thing could like suck you under and out below the waves, below the whole thing, that kind of concept. And that's sort of what things look like sometimes in terms of this universe. There's this facade over the top of what we think the universe is, and then there's woo things happening underneath it.
We'll see. I think that's such a great analogy in terms of, for sure, for our marriage and us and the way we think.
Uh-huh.
So bear with us, people. No, use what you can. But because when you talk about that, and I hear you talk about that, and you say didn't make sense, and the this and the that, it doesn't make sense. How it looks calm on the top and can pull you under. And I myself remember being caught in a rip tide when I was little. And I remember it. And I couldn't have been more than 4 years old, but I remember it. I remember my thoughts and my feelings at that time were like, oh wow, this is so cool. And like, but I have never thought in my life that didn't make sense. How did that happen? I mean, because that's not the way I think. I mean, that's just not the way I think. I think, because it was a riptide and that's what they do, and as opposed to going, but the water is this and da, 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 da. And I think that it's a good metaphor because I think, like, again, there are those that are trying to figure out these times. And then there are those that are moving in the alternate universe that may not be alternate, but even when you talk about the millions of marchers out there that were living in that space of love and inclusivity and possibility, I mean, in it would appear that that was an alternate universe on some level.
Mm-hmm.
And is it? I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, it isn't, but it is.
Well, and again, it depends on perspective, perhaps. I mean, I think some people do not see that as the universe that they believe we should be living in. That's not the preferred universe. Their universe is very protected, and nothing can get in that's in any way confusing or out of their realm of understanding. Whatever that is. And we don't want people. We don't want interruptions to this. We don't.
So, regardless of, I mean, because we could get stuck on that. And so the question isn't really, is there an alternate universe? Because that's a whole different topic. The question, I think the thing really comes from when we feel like we are in an alternate universe. When we feel like, how is this happening? Or nobody understands me, or those things that put us kind of on that silo, right? Where, um, how do we either find peace there, if it's not a peaceful one? How do we find peace there, or how do we return to the place of um, peace or knowingness? Or I'm assuming we all want to be on centered somehow. So how do we get back to what makes us comfortable, what makes us happy, what nourishes us, what feeds us? Like, and if we don't have hope, how do we find hope? If we don't have peace, how do we find peace? You know what I mean?
Well, I think at some level, saying life in an alternate universe, I'm thinking embrace the alternate universe that you believe in. That you see as what needs to be, and continue to hold that and continue to live from that space, even if there's a lot of other stuff going on that doesn't quite fit with that narrative.
So say more about that. How do you really do that? Because that sounds really great in theory. Okay, so I marched and I felt the peace and I felt the love and the people. And how do I really do that if I turn on the news or if I turn on the TV, or and without telling people, don't turn on the news,
Right.
don't turn on the TV. Like, how do we find that center? Because I mean, obviously we're going to go to a spiritual practice, or some kind of spiritual truth, which I don't know anywhere else to go, but I mean, go ahead.
And it's about I think enriching the universe we're in with more and more inclusivity and love, etc. Because we know that however whatever is happening, if it appears to be not inclusive, not loving, not those things, we can't fight it by becoming like that. We can't become like that and see anything change. We can't adopt that as our universe and talk about it as if it's our reality. So we have to acknowledge it's there, and continue to take every opportunity to reinforce the universe that we see as the one that needs to continue. You know, to find those loving people, to stand with them, to stand with them when encountering others that might not be standing in the same place, but continue to stand in that space of love. It doesn't matter if somebody else thinks the universe functions another way. That's their issue, if you will. You know, and as they would say, my issue is the way I see it working. You know,
Mhm.
and I can't.
Well, I agree with you, and I think uh, actually I think it's beyond that because I think you know for us in New Thought, um, Science Mind, whatever you choose to call what you do, what you believe. Um, I think beyond what you're saying, because yes, I totally agree with you, and beyond that, somehow I have to be able to reconcile with what I don't like or what I'm seeing out there that I'm judging as bad, as horrible, as unjust, as all of that. And so, I mean, I think there's that space of finding the peace, finding the I don't even know I don't even know what word I would use, but being able to reconcile, I guess, with that on some level. Like I'm not gonna lie, I've worked hard at being able to well, let's start with the beginning. I've worked hard at being able to be even neutral when I look at our current regime, you know. And I'm not always neutral. I mean, I think I am relatively neutral into that I just go to a place of like, how's that happening? How's this happening? But I'm not necessarily judging them, you know, and can I find the space because again, and I don't mean to get jargony or woo woo or out there, but if we go back to principle, there we're all children of God, you know,
Yeah.
even the ones that we think are lying and doing all the things they're doing, you know. So how do we move past that, Reverend Gill?
So, what is the universe in which the pain and the abuse and the whatever else that has happened in the lives of those who are lashing out is healed, is touched? What does that universe look like? Where is that? And I think that's the place we have to go. We have to go to that place where we find within ourselves the the strength and the best of our ability to show up as that universe, the one where people can be healed, people can be um, they can move past their things that they're putting out on others, and they can begin to feel well enough about themselves that they can start to shift all of this angst that they put out into the world. That's my opinion.
I hear you, and because I know and love you, I also understand you. But I, I, I'm curious as to like what is the first step to really putting that in practice. So when I'm watching, you know, I really don't want to name names. So when I'm watching someone speak um and they are saying blatantly um racist things or lies, what so in my mind, what do I do then? Besides send them love. I mean, yeah, yeah. What do I do? I mean, I get that they have a fear and that they have a pain and that they have something that needs to be healed. And I don't know. So is that I mean, is that really the only thing? I send them love?
I think that's the thing we do directly with them, and then we we stand up, if you will, to whatever the lie is, whatever the untruth that's being shared is, with a truth. All people are created with dignity. That's the truth. There's not any group that we should put out to the edge. There's not any of that stuff. It doesn't mean we go in. It doesn't mean we have to go in and go, they're wrong. They're absolutely wrong. They're even if at some level that seems to be the truth. But we have to go in from the perspective of, no, this is the truth. Here's the truth over here. I mean, we can't. I don't know. And maybe it. Maybe it relates to some of that stuff we were just learning about yesterday about attachment and that stuff, and how when somebody's in a position of being angry or whatever, and if we show up and play, it's a whole different thing that happens, a whole different kind of communication, a whole different kind of chemical exchange, and it can often move to something that can change rather than coming in with a big fight. Because when we come in with the fight, then we both have all the chemicals which cause our bodies to tighten up, to be overrun, to whatever.
Yeah, I hear you. And I agree with you. And yeah, I mean, it's just an interesting thought. I mean, I don't know. My experience has been, and what I've seen, that this regime of people, and I'm not making it one person because it's not.
It's not.
It's like there's that. Is there room for that? I get that we keep doing it. We do it until there's room for it. But I mean, I guess it's true. I mean, when we've seen shifts in all kinds of people who were pro different things and now they're not, pro, Trump, or pro different laws, and now they're not, and so I guess it's true. I guess we just keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah. And we see something that, we have to hold on. We have to hold on to the universe that we believe in, if you will. The one that shares the values that we understand spirits moving through us. That's the one we have to hold, and we have to hold that out to others. If there's a universe, that's okay. That's not the one that we are inviting them into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and not only what we spiritually believe, but for me, speaking from the it's not the universe that I was taught about. It's not the world that I learned about. It's not the Pledge of Allegiance that I did with liberty and justice for all. It's not that. It's not that. It wasn't my interpretation, or what I feel I was raised to believe. So my apologies, everyone. Clearly our show has been about just keep doing what you're doing. Really, just keep rocking the love. Just keep being the love in the world. But it's true. I mean, and we have to process sometimes because it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel fair. It feels like it's not enough. And again, we can't be the judge of what's enough because we don't know where the tipping point is. It's not our job to know. It's not our business. Our business is to be fully who we are and live into that space of love in the face of all of this. So it's a big job. Good Lord. It's a big job, but we're so glad we have you on our team to do it with us because we couldn't do it alone.
No.
So,
So
so
thank
that,
you.
yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you. Keep rocking the love, and if you're rocking the love with your wallet, we appreciate it. We love have donations here at New Thought Media Network. It really helps us continue to do this work in the world and broadcast to more and more people, and allows people to have a better understanding and know that there's a team of us and that are traveling together. So thank you so much for being a part of it. We are Rockin' the Love once again from Southern California and Albuquerque, New Mexico. And who knows where we'll rock it from next week? Who knows where I'll be?
Who knows where I'll be?
Who knows where we'll be? But what I do know is the World Series will be over by our next show.
That is true.
And I will either be one happy girl or over it. So if you got it in you, rock the Dodger love. If you're our Canadian friends, I get it. Go Blue Jays. Both amazing teams and in there for amazing reasons. And we'll see what happens. All right. So we love you, everybody.
Bye
See you.
now.
Rock the love.